So, I don't do a formal intro. I just say, hey man, how are you?
Can I ask something really fast before I start? How does my mustache look?
It's pretty good. It's solid.
Really?
It looks like you're not trying. Like it's just a natural
I'm
mustache.
trying really hard.
But it looks like you're not trying.
That's probably actually not good.
Oh, okay.
Because I want it. No. I can't grow a mustache. I can't grow good facial hair. I just wanted to make sure that it debuted well because I haven't really shown my mustache to that many people.
Well, now we can see. Like, is this... I did a mustache for a while, and it was like, I was genuinely trying. I was like, I want to like, I don't know, what's it like? I've always had a beard or facial hair, like consistent, whatever. And I was like, shave the fucking rest of it. And my girlfriend, not a fan. Like, it's like, she wouldn't take anything I was saying seriously.
Do girls not like mustaches?
Not mine. You like mustaches? No.
Well, don't worry, because mine is very juvenile looking. I say mustache. I will, promise. I say mustache, but what I really mean is just I look like I'm 15 again, basically.
It looks good, man.
Thank you.
Ain't so bad at all.
I'm happy to be here.
So, 6 feet cheers from across the table. You got, if you need another brew?
Yep.
Funny out there?
I do. Thank you, my love.
Oh, what a sweetie.
See that? Thank you. The patriarchy already taken over. I feel so bad now. I should have gotten up and gotten the beer. People, I'm going to be canceled for this.
Cancel culture.
Oh, God, dude.
All right. So
oh, my God.
Let's give them some shit to cancel. Joe.
I've had comments on this whole cancel culture thing. It's really funny to me.
It's crazy. It's fucking ridiculous.
I just found out that renowned mustache enthusiast Adolf Hitler was a Nazi. And... childhood shattered. Canceled. That's basically what it is, though, is people going back, and you're going back into something where we already all know about this. His fan base is cool with it, just whoever we're canceling here. And we've all decided we're cool about it. You're not even his demographic. How exactly are you going to cancel him?
I'm offended for those people.
Yeah, like you were never going to go to his show. You were never going to buy his CD or his comedy special. You were like, keep doing what you were doing and continue to not support that person. But I don't really understand the whole, and it's usually something for like satire or parody. They're trying to cancel that Joji kid. You know him?
Yeah, they're trying to cancel him. I've heard about that.
Because the Filthy Frank thing. The young kids are just now finding out that he is that Filthy Frank character. And I guess he probably said a lot of he had a lot of Japanese characters. He is Japanese. So like, I don't know where we are on like, can we make fun of ourselves at this point? I feel like I'm still allowed to make Hispanic jokes and Middle Eastern jokes. I don't do it if it's out of taste, but you can't go back 6 years in someone's YouTube, Twitter history. And it's completely parody. Like it's satire clearly. And you're going to try to get mad about it now.
Well, like, it's weird. Okay, so I mentioned this. So think about Kevin Hart, for example, like what happened to him. Like they pulled a joke that was just fucking hilarious. Like nobody really thought much about it. Like what was it? Like he was saying he's going to throw a dollhouse at his kid or something.
I don't know if it was hilarious, but as a comedian, it was a joke.
It was a joke.
And you have to respect that. Like you have to let someone attempt to make a joke. It's not someone saying, this is my belief, this is my opinion. And he said... if my son tried to play with dolls, I'll beat him with a dollhouse or something like that. Right. Or if my son, I believe he said, if my son turns out to be gay, I'll stab him.
Right.
But like, it was a bad joke, but it was an attempt at a joke. And you also have to understand, this is before people knew what Twitter was, what political correctness, like what this was all going to be. We didn't know what we could joke about. We didn't know who was going to see this years later. I don't think people really understood context back then. Like, someone is reading this and they don't know you're joking. I don't think people really even got that.
I don't think people really comprehend like that things change too. Like that we like just as a fucking species in a society, we adapt and grow and we learn like, oh, that is kind of fucked up to say.
Yeah.
Like so, and comedians are the ones who are finding that edge. It's their job. It's your job to find the edge. Like we can't just fucking pull up old shit people said and be like, you mean this now?
We have to be allowed to say that.
Right.
Because we are joking. If we are not allowed to say things, no one is. I get it if you're going to get mad at somebody because they released this long manifesto and they're just an actor and okay, sure. But if you don't let the people whose job it is to joke and not be taken serious, if you don't let them do that, no one is safe. Like literally that is the last bastion, that's the last pillar of freedom of speech that we have is JK. And if you take JK away, what can you say?
Right.
There's literally nothing else you can do. Like,
yeah, I don't think, see, I'm such an advocate of that too, because I like the philosophy side of things. I love studying philosophy because I feel like it points out, it's like the elaborated, more overly serious for no reason version of comedians. Like, it's like, here's what's crazy that we do and why we do it. And it almost like wakes people up to the reality of like, oh yeah, I was taking that thing too seriously. Or
exactly.
I think it's one of the most important things. Like the cancel culture, the deplatforming thing. Like, man, when I started seeing it, like it probably just because I was consuming massive amounts of Joe Rogan and having his same opinions. But
yeah,
I was like, fuck, this is bad. Victim. This is bad for society. I'm like, but really though, it is like it can't happen. And I think when it started happening, you start actually like there was some people who took like there's some people who took the hit, you know, but I think more comedians kind of started stepping up a little more. Like they started like breaking the wall more. Like I remember when Dave Chappelle, his more recent special was like, you know what sucks? Y'all motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like he's like talking about the audience and like he just started going off from that point.
Yes.
And that's a new thing.
I almost count that special as performance art and not even stand-up comedy because there's so much nuance into even just down to the way he was dressed, the way the things he chose to talk about. I look at that as basically, I'm going to get up here on this, not to compare him to Christ, but like, I'm going to totally do it right now. I'm going to get up here on this comedy crucifix and I'm going to say all the things that I'm not allowed to say. I'm going to say them and I'm going to be wearing a janitor's outfit and cancel me. And it's not going to work. And now that leaves the lane up for people like me to where like, okay, whew, I can breathe. I can say this thing. I'm just joking, even though it's not fully like that yet, but it's getting there. But, I don't know. When you start to take like what comedians, Dave Chappelle especially, he is a barometer. When we take something and we joke about it, right? You can take the power away from it and you can get people to look at it from a new perspective, right? You can get people to laugh at themselves. But if everyone is afraid to make a joke, everyone is going to continue to stay in the same patterns of thoughts because you can't ever look at yourself and go, like you were saying, oh, that was silly. Why would I think that? Like, nope, we'll just keep saying things that we agree with. Like we were saying before we started recording, I saw someone comment, you don't need anyone around you who has a separate opinion from you. That is the most toxic. That's dangerous. Yeah, like. That's fucked. And it's kind of that. If you don't allow somebody to joke about something that you don't agree with, you're just going to continue to, history's going to repeat itself. Right. We're never going to realize hypocrisy in things. It's our job to point out hypocrisy as a comedian. How can I ever point out how somebody's doing something stupid if I'm going to get in trouble for it? And how are you guys going to realize? Yeah, I mean, it's interesting to think because, you know, comedians, you can think back just in my head. I'm like, okay, jesters. Like that's what they were before, right? Like, okay, but it seems like in movies, and I don't know a ton about jesters at all, so it could be pulling something out of my butt. But in movies, it's like you say the funny things, but there's always this like kind of little edge where back in the day you can't like make fun of the queen though. Like don't fucking make fun of the queen. That's an interesting comparison to draw because if a jester did something that a queen or a king didn't like, it was off with your head. Yeah. And that's how it's becoming now. Yeah. And what an insane reality that we can't fucking live in that. Are you out of your mind? Like that's crazy. But so at the same time that these sort of things happening, like I said, there's a lot of people who like, you know, the legends have kind of stepped into the light lately of sorts or are starting to or whatever. Maybe I'm noticing it. But at the same time, there's also a new form of comedy, social media. There's, and not just comedians on social media. There's like random motherfuckers who are just like hateful bastards and they make hilarious memes. Yeah. Like we have new forms of comedians now too. There's apps that are coming out that are creating new forms of comedy just from being born as an app, like TikTok. You know, that was never a form of comedy before. Mime dancing in front of and then words fly away. Like I don't know, you know, that's completely new. So like every time an app comes out, now we have a whole new realm of comedy that was born, like a whole new genre of comedian that is live. And I think like I was gonna say earlier, in terms of the cancel culture and like it seems to go in waves. I do think it is unhealthy, but I do think we need it. the internet used to be a really dark, mean, and it's still very dark and mean, but it was not a friendly place for overweight people, LGBT people. The internet in 2011 was bully central. Like, you were going to get bullied into suicide in 2011 if you were gay, overweight, odd, in any different way. I've recently gone on a little bit of a YouTube rabbit hole during this quarantine thing, and I kind of got to look into what social media was like in 2011 and 2012, because as I was saying, I wasn't around for that. I swore off social media at that time. And it was a really mean place. And I can see why that wave crested of political correctness, because it was so politically incorrect. You were allowed to say anything about anybody, that the wave crested, and now we have too much of it. And just like with too much of anything, it's an ebb and flow. Now everyone is starting to realize, like, okay, we can't be this stringent about every single little thing, but there is a lot of good aspects that have come from cancel culture, and I'm not mad at a lot of it. I think that body positivity and things like that are great, and I'm glad that if you try to say some homophobic remarks on the internet, there is a gang of blue-haired girls that are going to post your picture, and everyone's going to know about your homophobic beliefs. I like that. I don't like this, if it doesn't fit my agenda, ruin this man's life.
Yeah, that's fucked.
That's what I don't like. Or woman's life.
Yeah.
Like the lady who got off the plane from that. Going to Africa, hope I don't get AIDS. Don't worry, I'm white. Richard Bronson, or the Bronson guy, I can't remember his name. He's the guy who wrote Men Who Stare at Goats. He wrote a book about her where this woman, and this is like 2013, before she really realized you can't say that. She is about to get on a plane to Africa, does a stupid tweet. She has probably 30 followers. About to go to Africa. Hope I don't get AIDS. Oh, don't worry. I won't. I'm white. She has 30 followers. She's a nurse or something. She's probably not thinking much. This woman gets on a plane, no airplane, no phone on a plane. When she steps off that plane, her life is over. Wow. She has been canceled and completely stoned in the public square by the time she steps off that plane, and her life changed in a matter of 3 hours. And that can happen to anybody. Well, you don't have to be famous.
Well, so take apart that situation though. Like, holy fuck. Like, I mean, obviously I feel bad for her. Like, okay, but so in this situation, she said something that would be perceived as racist.
Very racist.
So how do we solve that? How do we fucking hook her up to a lie detector test and be like, are you racist though? Like, are you a threat to other people's way of life? Are you?
It's up to the court of public opinion. And the court of public opinion is not nice. If you're asking me, someone who is very trained in the art of nuance and context, because I tell a lot of very polarizing jokes, I see that you are joking. You didn't say, hey guys, black people are the cause for AIDS and the only ones who get it. I'm white and proud. You didn't say that. You made a joke, and I can tell you were trying to joke. So it was distasteful. It wasn't really funny at all. I forgive you. The court of public opinion does not agree with me. You are racist for even thinking that can be funny.
They're saying like it's the words. It doesn't matter who you are. These words, if you say them,
that tweet now defines you as a person.
Yeah.
I don't care how much charity you've done in your life. Right. To the court of public opinion, I'm not saying it's right, but to them, you're done.
Right.
That's it. And it's like, I am going to Africa to work with Doctors Without Borders to save I don't care.
Right. Wait, is that what she was doing actually?
Could have been. I don't know, probably not. Yeah. But still, it could have been that same exact thing. Wow. And people would not care. That's the other thing.
What a minefield. That is crazy how close it is. We're just talking about like the Queen's like, fuck this guy. Off with this jester's head.
Oh, dude. I'm glad that so we were saying earlier, MySpace was the thing, 2008, 2009. I was still in high school. I was probably a senior. I was about 18, 19 at the time. And Facebook reared its ugly little mug. And everyone was like, oh, there's this new social media. I said, you know what? This stuff makes me feel weird when I'm on it. And I don't really think I like it. And I did not get on the internet or own a smartphone from 2008 to 2016 at all. I would get on once in a while to like look up a YouTube video or whatever, you know what I mean? But even that, I was just like looking up like awesome fails, very 2012. Right. And I'm glad that I did not have the internet back then. I'm also not glad because I think I would be much further in my career at this point if I did have it. But the things that I would have said and I would have thought and I would have believed back then, I was a very different person. I'm glad that I got to go through my 18 to 24-year-old stage of having all these stupid ideas and dumb jokes and all these things. I'm glad that I got to do that in private, and no one's ever going to be able to go back and look at something stupid I said when I was 19, because that would fucking scare the shit out of me. I cussed.
I cussed. Well, dude, I have so I've been someone who's been fucking thoroughly addicted to social media. I've always liked social media. I've like MySpace. I was like, I'm gonna be the guy who lays on the train tracks and gets my photo taken, and that's my like. You know what's funny is like I got reassurance. I was talking about this in another podcast, and my friend Mackenzie was like, No, you were cool. You were cool. I was like, yes. Sweet. Like other people saw me who didn't know me in person, but on MySpace. But anyway, so like I've always been into social media, and I never like, I don't even know. Like I didn't ask myself like why I was just so into it. But I feel like it was such an addiction that I didn't know that I had. Like just simple fucking dopamine pleasures. Like I don't even know what I'm consuming, dude. And I didn't really know that. And I worked at a lumber mill for 5 years, and essentially what I did was the job itself was easy as cake, and if you're good at it, you don't touch shit. You hit this button and this button, and as long as you got everything set up good, if nothing fucks up, you don't have to get up.
That can be soul sapping,
bro. I sat there on my phone. I would sit there and I would hit the button, and then less than a minute would go by, and I would pull up the exact same apps, and I would refresh them and see if anybody's saying anything new. And like I didn't stop myself to be like, the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I consuming this? Why do I want to know what these people are saying?
It takes a lot to step back and look at yourself from the lens of what the fuck.
What do you think that could you do like an open comparison between like maybe what other people experience, like even compare us, not gonna hurt my feelings with anything either, but like, what do you feel that you maybe got that I didn't get? Or like what did I take away from myself from being on social media?
What did I get from being on social media or not being on social media?
From not being on social media.
I know that there are things that are weighable and measurable. I saw this artist that I really love. This tattoo artist did this on somebody. I miss my pre-internet brain. This whole FOMO, this anxiety that I have, this where's my phone when I leave a place, when I go a place, when I go to the bathroom, who's messaging. I did not have that. I was exactly where I was, even though I was still dealing with mental health issues. I still was depressed. I still wasn't completely happy in life. I was where I was, and that's where I was, and I wasn't supposed to be anywhere else. There was no looking at my phone like, I didn't have that at all. I miss that so much. I miss not worrying about being somewhere that I'm supposed to be. Like I was exactly with who I was with. I was talking to that person. You would never have a conversation with me where, that would never happen. It wasn't a realm. And the thing that I didn't get from it was validation for my art. I needed that, and I wasn't getting it.
Wow, yeah.
But that's not for everybody. Not everybody is a creator. Not everybody needs validation on the internet. But I literally was living in a realm of, is this even funny? Am I even good at singing? Am I delusional? Because I try not to be narcissistic. And I really had this crazy battle before I got on the internet of, I didn't even want to post stuff. Because I was like, am I fucking crazy? Like, am I delusional? Because I didn't want to just think like, oh, wow, I'm really, really funny and just do it. And the internet gave me reassurance of you're not crazy. Your belief in yourself is founded because other people believe in you just as much as you do. It's showable and it's provable. Right. So I didn't have that validation, and I felt really alone in the world. But I also felt so relaxed and calm without the internet. I was fine. There was nothing to check. Nothing I checked my pulse. That was the only thing I had to check was my pulse.
Think about FOMO, like just that word, like, it's kind of like it's a laughable like joke word. Like think about the little blue bird for Twitter is like, oh, it's cute, little blue bird. But like Twitter is like, you can ruin your fucking life by saying something on it. Like it's these little dorky things. FOMO, we have that word, we hear that. It's kind of like said in pop culture, but like, fuck, man, it's a real thing. Like people feel genuine, like my life sucks. My house sucks. I hate everything because I'm not with these people. They didn't invite me. I'm not being a part of this thing. I'm missing out on this. I didn't hear the hottest music. I didn't see the newest thing. I'm missing out on jokes that I don't get because people are talking about the memes they just saw that are new. Like it's a, fear of missing out, FOMO, but it's another way for being in physical reality for all of a sudden our fear body, our like old limbic reptilian brain to be activated.
I think that it's something that, just like with all things, just like with all drugs, you can use it medicinally and it can be a drug. The fact that, or it can be an addiction. The fact that I can get on here, and even though my life is in shambles, I am sleeping on a box spring. I not to say that any of this is true, it totally is. I'm drinking mouthwash every day. My life is terrible, but at least I am doing well on the internet or whatever. That can be really, really detrimental. But if you use it as a tool to like be motivation, yeah, I get everything in my life is not great right now, but the internet is a place where I get validation and it makes me feel good. Also, you need to be changing those things in your life that aren't good. Like, that's great that you get validation from the internet, but get a good bed. You know, strive for something more and get that validation from the internet. Right. Don't let that validation from the internet be your end all be all.
I think noticing that it's validation is the biggest thing.
Yes.
Like a lot of us don't know that we're seeking validation. Like me, for example, for many years, I didn't realize I just need approval of other people. I need to like think of something that's going to get likes rather than like, what do I really fucking want to say? Like, what do I really like? Like now when I post to Instagram, I get sometimes fucking 14 likes, but it's something that I genuinely fucking like now, man. And it's not like, but back then I could post the coolest outfit, then I like, took a while to do the lighting and I blah, blah, and have a cool background, and I get like fucking 170 likes. But I feel like I never took the time from like high school to whenever to be like, what are likes? What am I doing? Why do I want them? It's playing a fucking slot machine, getting little ding, 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 ding.
And you realize it's like a breeding ground for not good feelings. That you're like editing this picture and everything, and you're not like, oh, I look good. You're like, oh, I look better if I do this.
Yes, exactly.
You're not like, oh man, great, I look so cool in this outfit. You're like, man, I hope my shoes are new enough, and I hope this filter works. I'll make myself better. And then you get the validation from this character that you've developed, but that's not real. That's not you. That's not real. That's not someone saying, hey, you're a good person. I've seen how you act with your friends, and I think you're beautiful for that. That's not the same as going, hey, you have a sick outfit. That's all superficial. So you might get validation from that, but it's not true, and I think people know that. I went to the internet for validation. I am very aware that's what I was seeking. So I don't really have a good spectrum on that, maybe, because I am very comfortable with the fact that I want you to tell me that I am funny. I want you to tell me that I am attractive. I need that, and I'm okay with that. But I don't define myself by that, because I have this whole definition of myself that I had before I even had social media. Right. But it's just like drugs, dude.
It is.
It's just totally like drugs, man. Like opiates literally can be a helper or a harmer of you. You choose how you want to use it.
Right.
It just depends. I feel bad for people who I can tell that social media is the only it's all that they're holding on with, and they're not even using it properly. Like your thing that's keeping you going is anger and
resentment
and bitterness and narcissism, when you could be using social media to get positive validation by, say, like how you do, when you make someone else feel good. How about make someone else feel good? That's going to make you have some fucking validation that you can't even understand from getting a compliment on your outfit.
Right.
Like, you can use the internet for good, or you can use it for evil.
Right.
What kind of validation do you want? I want validation from validating you.
Right.
And also tell me I'm cute.
Also hit like, just saying.
Yeah, thank you.
I think social media is cool. Like, fucking brain farted exactly what I thought. I was going to say something massively important.
Weed does that. We haven't even smoked weed yet.
I took the hit of weed. You right there. There's a bong just for you, buddy.
Oh my God.
Some bongs and some weeds.
I've been smoking weed since the 4th grade. Can you believe that?
Yo, you know what's funny is I probably I met you originally. We used to skateboard together back in the day.
This is true. 12, 13, around that.
I'm trying to think. I definitely didn't smoke weed. I probably thought smoking weed was super square, but it was because my dad just super loved meth, and he also did weed. So I was just like, drugs, not cool.
Bad.
Right. But then what's fucking funny and probably traumatizing is by the time I turned 15, I was hanging out with my dad and we smoked weed together. He wasn't doing meth back, he was cool.
Wait, when you were how old?
15.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
That's when my family started smoking with me too. My grandma handed me the pipe at 14, around that age.
My grandma was also watching as my dad and I smoked.
Shit! Sorry,
this
grandma.
Is so adorable.
Dear God.
They just get stitches.
Yeah.
I've been smoking a good amount of weed during quarantine. It's funny, like it's of course a habit, an addiction. It's something that I'm like, oh, okay. Like I definitely do. If I'm in a situation and I'm not stoned, I'm like hanging out in my backyard. I'm like, I should go take a bong rip, because playing with my puppy or mowing the lawn is just gonna be like a little bit cooler stoned. But so like, I try to like watch it when I'm like trying to get myself too stoned all the time, when I'm just like, oh, am I trying to just make everything a little bit better than it needs to be? Or am I like, because mowing the lawn could be just as fine. Playing with my dog could be just as fine without it. You know?
I think it's much like social media, where it's okay if you get that up from it, but can you get the same thing petting your dog or having fun with your dog without it? If you need weed to have a good time, you need to check yourself. If it is enhancing your time, I'm fucking cool with that.
Right.
Like that is completely fine. I don't know, like I don't really know so much what it's like to not feel high or what is the word? Fucking mind altering substances. My mind altered. When you met me in 8th grade, I was using meth, heroin at 14, 15 years old. I had been smoking weed for a long time. I had been drinking for a long time. I've been doing that for a long time, and there's only a very short periods of my time in my life where I know what it's like to be me, completely unaltered at all. Usually those are very, very uncomfortable times in my life. And usually they're also very clear, like I have the most clarity and the most awe-inspiring epiphanies of my life at the same time. I've gotten a lot of my motivation and a lot of my sense of self-worth from when I'm sober. When I'm sober is when I tell myself that I am a fucking beast and I can do this. I tend to not get down on myself, but like, oh man, you're just a fucking slacker, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, same thing.
Go chug some mouthwash type deal.
When I'm really into mouthwash.
I'm telling you, everybody on the internet thinks I chug mouthwash on a daily basis.
He does.
I do. But I forgot what I was saying, but the motivation to like actually, what were we talking about? The mouthwash thing totally fucking threw me off. Man. But yeah, fucking...
just using things in moderation and like having like a regular consciousness of sober. Like it's
I don't have a good grasp on it. And so it's hard for me to decide, am I using this weed for a good reason? Am I drinking for the right reason? I've gone through times in the past 2 years where I have been a stone cold, blackout drunk alcoholic. And now at that point in my time in my life, that sounds completely unattractive to me.
Right.
Which part of me is the actual base level where I'm going to like where I operate from. Am I an alcoholic trying to be sober, or am I a sober person who just had a weird year? You know? Right. Because I've never had a problem with alcohol before. So like I try to, like, why was I doing that? What was I getting out of it? Why am I smoking weed now? And as long as I feel like I can enjoy life without it. I can do things without it. Like I don't have to be drunk or stoned when I go on stage. I don't need to be drunk or stoned to perform. I don't need to be drunk or stoned to be with my girlfriend, to be with my friends, but it enhances it. So I'm cool with it. The moment that I stop hanging out with my friends because I don't got any weed is the moment that I stop smoking weed.
Right. I feel that.
Instantly.
I feel that.
Takes a chug of beer.
Yeah. Right. No, see, I don't drink, I don't really get like fucked up too often, like a couple times a year. Like we have a couple trips that we do and I'm like, I get ready, man. I'm like taking extra fiber and I'm like, I gotta be drinking this much more water because next week we're doing this thing. But now I don't know. I feel like the unattractive, my thing for a long time was Coke. I just fucking loved cocaine.
It was never a thing for me.
Yeah, it was for me, you know, what's crazy is I think a lot of it was, I would get together with people and we would just be dreamers, man. Like it was a lot of like the one time I gave myself permission to feel something, I think. Yeah. And I also, so I started doing a lot more Coke. I had tried it before, but I started doing a lot more Coke.
Wow.
When I got off antidepressants. Because I actually had a Reddit comment that like flipped something in my fucking brain that like hurt me. I was on antidepressants. I went through a bunch of stages of I hated all of them. They sucked and they weren't working for me. And then I finally upped my dose. And I was like, oh, okay, I had a few days or a few weeks of like, okay, I'm feeling pretty leveled out. But it was a weird feeling. And then I was reading this Reddit comment that was like, it basically said like, antidepressants work for me really, really well. And then I suddenly realized that it wasn't actually me, and I was just using I was just feeling that because of the drug, and it was blocking out. So it was like something that just put it like bluntly. And I was like, oh no. And then so I went through a few more months of like getting off of them and in cold turkey, and then it turned into, and this is not all blaming like what I would do cocaine just because it's fucking fun. Like it was, but this kind of led me into this like, I was at this weird not feeling anything, like because a lot of times antidepressants can make they level you out, but it's like you don't feel the extreme sadness, but you also don't feel the extreme like, and I'm someone who's like, sometimes I am up and down, like some, ADHD or whatever. Like, so it was kind of like giving me something to feel, whereas before I was just not feeling anything. And it was the one time you could actually start to like talk from maybe my true self, because I was actually letting myself feel excitement, talking about dreaming and like, what do I want to do when I'm older?
I think that resonates with a lot of people, dude. Because I instantly, when you said that, I kind of like, oh wow, so many people that I have, because I'm not a very big cocaine guy, but I have a lot of friends who have been, and I've been in those rooms, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So many people I've talked to, I want to be a singer. I actually want to do this. I actually have a dream of this. And then they never tell you that until you're in that room 6 lines deep. And it's almost like they needed that to feel comfortable with themselves, because how dare I ever be a singer? How dare I ever have a dream? And it lets you feel that.
Right.
It allows you to become the thing that you are hoping to be without ever actually having to do the emotional work to get there.
Right.
Like, oh yeah.
It's so crazy how much more excited I feel now just knowing that like I don't just talk about it, and I'm really like accepting what I want for myself. And I'm like, yeah, I am working on it. And I'm more realistic about like the time frame of like everything you do every day is just a little more fucking chipping away at it. It's actually interesting to think about just like the inability of our not society, but a lot of us to like dream out loud without feeling that we can, and without feeling like put down for it, or without trying to explain our way out of it, or without feeling silly. Like,
especially if you're self-aware.
Yeah. Ooh. Okay. So I heard this thing. So the Martin Luther King "I Have a Dream" speech. That apparently, and I just heard this a couple weeks ago, he had a friend or a family member or somebody who was actually behind him, and he was going on, and he was on the script, and he was saying what he had to say. And the "I Have a Dream" speech, it was actually off the dome, I guess.
What? That was a freestyle?
Bro, of some sorts, right?
Bars.
So apparently somebody behind him was leaning forward and going, "Tell them about the dream." Wow. Literally. So I want to fact check this for sure. I wish we had a Jamie, but I heard this a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, what?
Imagine if he wasn't there.
What? Imagine if he wasn't there, dude. What would we be fucking talking about? What would our world be? I think that like, and that's what I want this podcast to be, to inspire people to do that too, is like, fuck, dude, if you got a friend who's telling you about some shit, tell them, I know you more than a lot of people do, bro. And like, if you really look into it, be like, dude, I know that you can do this.
Yeah.
You got to fucking just put some work in, be realistic, but don't fucking crush anybody's dreams. Like,
you are that thing. The dice that you have rolled, that you've landed here, because so far you haven't really been trying. You have rolled a lot of people. You have just kind of landed where you're at. My mom did this. My dad did this. We lived here. I went to school here. I got offered a job here. This is my life. Secretly, I want to be a singer. That place that you landed is not you. That thing that you are dreaming quite possibly is really, that's the actual you. The thing that you're like telling yourself that you can't talk about unless you're on cocaine, that quite possibly is your actual self. That's why it's that Jim Carrey quote. It's your avatar telling you that you're not in the correct spot. You just landed here. You're not guy who works at the mill. That's not you, bro. Yeah. Your cousin got you a job. That doesn't define you. That's not your fucking goal in life. And you're telling yourself that you can't be a fucking guitar player or whatever, when that is so much more true to your bones than anything else you've ever done in your life. You're just scared. Because people landed you in a place, or you landed in a place, and that's what it is. That's the thing I've always had a hard time accepting, where I've landed. I cannot land here. This is not it. I know for a fact that this is not where I'm supposed to be. And I think people have a hard time stomaching that from me, because it can come off as narcissistic when I'm like, this is not going to be my career. But I know that this is not it for me. Right. And I think that a lot of people are not realizing that.
It's like living someone else's truth or something.
Yeah.
Like, it's it's just crazy, like to see like how many, and when you are a dreamer or someone who is on the fringes, or you're somebody who's just a creative, or like, I'm just like, you probably have it too. Like, it seems like people are more apt to tell you like, man, I kind of wish that I was like a stand-up comedian. Like, that'd be cool.
More than any other art, but go ahead.
Yeah. Right. but it's, I don't know. I think, just to put a little plug in that specific thought. So, a listener, I think just realize when you're on either sides of these coins, like if one of your friends is kind of just like casually giving a little like, oh, or maybe you guys are fucked up and it's 4 a.m. and you just did 3 grams, and your friend's like, bro, I want to be an actor so bad.
Story time.
Like, you know what? Tomorrow, bro, let's stop doing cocaine. At 10:30 tomorrow, bro, let's stop doing cocaine. And let's get this acting going,
At some point
next week,
let's stop. But no, what you're saying is correct, and I think that goes with the Jim Carrey quote of, you feel like you are this person, but if you actually, what you think is uncomfortable for you, you think that the most uncomfortable thing in the world would be to put yourself out there and really try acting. Oh my God, that sounds terrible. The most uncomfortable thing in the world is what you're doing. Your job that you hate, that is the most uncomfortable thing in the world. Even if you failed and you went and tried to be an actor, you would be a lot more comfortable doing that because you'd be happy and you would die knowing, fuck, I tried. And you would have that sense of like, okay, I did the thing. I did it. You'd be a lot more comfortable being what you truly want to be at your heart than the job that you were assigned at birth in your town. You know, You think you're more comfortable. You're not. You'd be so much more comfortable in your own water. Well,
so we have a whole generation, is such a generalization, but like, think about, our parents, like how they were raised, our parents' ages. They're raised to like work in factories and work in jobs and
that's what you do.
Whatever. It's our way of like thought is completely different. Like, it's I'm always trying to look at like the kids who are growing up now.
They had different trainers.
Yeah.
Our parents.
Right.
They were taught, I don't even want to know.
But it's so different. Like, it's like, here's exactly what you do. And if you question it, they're like, it's because you do it. Come on. It's because they're like, well, why would I apply at that job if I don't really want to work there? They're like, because you need a 401k, you idiot. And you're like, why do I need a 401k? Because you want to retire one day, don't you? And you're like, I guess.
This,
you know what I mean? Like,
this reminds me, not to like fucking bring up my own self-promote right now, but I have a song called Something About Working, and the lyrics are, something about working every fucking weekend. You say it is not worth it. They say you're overthinking. No, I'm not.
I like that.
Yeah, like, you're not overthinking. There is something about fucking working every weekend, and it's killing you.
Right.
Stop. Figure out a way to make it, to marry the two, because I understand you have to survive. I understand that. We have to pay our bills and everything. But you cannot keep on just talking about this part of you when you do cocaine. You have to let it all live together. Mm-hmm. It has to all be free. I did not become a full person and realize who I am until I started being comfortable with the fact that I want to be a stand-up comedian. If I only talked about it when I did cocaine, dude, I would have been dead a long time ago, bro. I would have given up a long time ago.
Right.
You have to be comfortable with your dreams.
You gotta let yourself have it.
Yeah, let yourself feel. Like you were saying earlier, it was the only time that you would let yourself feel. Mm-hmm. Dude, fuck. That's heavy. Like, as soon as you said that, I was like, yes, I think that's probably resonant for a lot of people who have cocaine problems. It is, okay, I can let it out now. Oof. Right. It's never been a thing for me. I don't know if I have ADD or ADHD, but I tend to have the symptoms of it where uppers are very overwhelming for me, and I've never liked that kind of stuff. I get very anxiety ridden, and I already have enough anxiety and depression as it is, but I've never been a fan of that. Hallucinogens, even that type of thing, is a little scary for me. I got offered DMT last night, but I was in the woods. I was scared. I was scared. I was in the woods.
You would have been in another fucking dimension.
I know. I like to be on someone's couch.
Dude, set and setting is the ideal thing with psychedelics. And I'm just saying that because I listen to it a lot. I have not done psychedelics. Accidentally one time.
Anything?
I did LSD on accident, I think.
That's the way to do it, though.
I had done 3 triple stacks of ecstasy. We were at a rave in Seattle.
No.
I was fucked up beyond belief, and I took a pill from a stranger, and then I was seeing comic book bubbles with the letter R. So shit was crazy.
It would be hard to differentiate into like what's really going on with you when you're that deep into a fucking.
Oh no, I had realities happening. Like I was convincing myself that my friends weren't my friends. It was like weird.
I would not to say that the person I am today is very great, but I am very proud that I'm not the person that I was going to be, and I think that I am a lot better than I was. And I would not be the person that I am without hallucinogens, without psilocybin, and without dimethyltryptamine. I would not be me.
Can you tell me why?
When I was about 15, just to give you some reference to like what kind of kid I was at the time, Jake kind of knew me back then. I was in and out of juvie every other week, every other weekend. I smoked meth, I smoked heroin. 3 weeks before this life-changing psilocybin trip, I got the tattoo "Shit Happens" on my knuckles when I was 15 years old. So that's the kind of kid I was. I had no hopes of a future. If you asked me what I wanted to be, I would have said, I just want to skate and be a functioning drug addict. I'll do whatever. I'll sell drugs. Like, that was my goal. You know what I mean? I had no sense of I am a good person whatsoever. My buddy, who shall remain nameless, but let's call him Jordan because that's his real name. He sold me these shrooms and he was like, hey, listen, I grew these in my basement. They're not normal. And I'm like, no. I'm not normal. Only eat 1 or 2. And I was like, okay. So me being me, I ate the whole bag, which was an 1/8. And it was way too much. And the initial thing happened of I'm just seeing crazy things, right? I would blink my eyes and all of my friends, we were sitting around a campfire, all of my friends would disappear. And then I would blink my eyes again and they would come back. It was pretty wild. My friends tried to bring me some food. It looked like it was covered in maggots, the classic stuff. My uncle walked around the corner of the house and he looked like he was 20 feet tall and he was like resting his elbow on the fucking roof. Just all kinds of things like that. My cousin looked like he was covered in scales and had a tail, whatever. My girlfriend's, this is my favorite one though, I have to say this one. My girlfriend's nose, the end of her nose started blowing up like a helium balloon. And then it popped in my face and the flesh went all over me. So at this point,
wait, did that flip it traumatizing all of a sudden? Like,
this was not fun at all. None of it was fun.
None of it's fun.
None of this was fun.
For some reason, the really tall uncle against the roof is so funny to me, but it's probably not actually.
It was extremely unsettling and frightening. My chain, my Figaro 2006 gangster chain turned into a snake, crawled down my pants. So I thought everyone was trying to kill me. I needed my mom or my brother to come and pick me up. This is very common when you trip out. The only people you trust is your mother. That's the only person who wasn't trying to kill me. I have my brother come and pick me up. Of course, he messes with me the whole entire ride home, convincing me that I'm in a spaceship, whatever, you know? I get home and my mom, as soon as I get home, I enter this realm of safety. Everything becomes less dark. It becomes okay. I'm 16, 15 years old. I have my mom cradle me in her arms like a baby. And I make her put her hand in my mouth. And people can't see this, but I make her put her hand with her fingers in my mouth and her palm on the bottom of my chin, kind of like you would face mask somebody in football. Perfect fucking description. I did that because if you've ever seen The Grudge when people's jaws fall off, it felt like my jaw was doing that. And I needed her reassurance that it wasn't happening. So
it doesn't sound fun at all.
No, it was traumatizing. And to this day, I have nightmares about it. It was not fun. But I closed my eyes and then I went into this nowhere place. I didn't have a body, but what is a body? Huh? What is me? I don't even know what the concept of me is.
Where's the edges?
Yes, I was just a floating ball of gas. And I was in this black realm. And then my probation officer at the time shows up from the abyss and starts walking towards me. I didn't know that's who it was. She opens up a case folder and starts reading me basically someone's like life stats. You know what I mean? Like what happened in their life. She was telling me about myself, but I had full amnesia. I did not know who I was whatsoever. I was just like, why are you telling me this? And then she was like, this is you. And it all hit me at once. Instantly, every memory I ever had of all my whole life, and I'm not a good kid. I'm on heroin, meth, all this shit. My reality hits me how it would hit a stranger. You know what I mean?
Right,
like,
right.
I am seeing myself from someone else's perspective, and it fucked me up. And my mom was going through this with me. Like, I'm asking my mom, like, this is really me? I'm remembering things like, this is who I am. I go to juvie all the time. I smoke heroin. Like, this is really me, Mom? And she's like, yes, son, this is really you. And I'm like, fuck, I don't like this. I'm going to change. And I didn't fully change. I've still had battles with drug addiction since then. I've still had battles with I will say this, I didn't have a run-in with the law or do anything criminal for 10 years until I got a DUI. After that, I completely changed my life. Like, I completely changed the way I was as like the stealing and robbing and lying and terrible kid. Breaking into people's houses. I robbed every elementary school and store in this town. Whoop, statute of limitations. Anyways, it was more than 10 years ago, kids. I already checked. Look back. So I was just this terrible person, and I stopped doing that. I stopped being that. I still had my faults. I still was a cheater. I still wasn't the best husband. I wasn't the best boyfriend. I wasn't the best son, but I changed a lot about me, and I would not have done that without psilocybin mushrooms. It showed me to myself. I got to meet me, man. Like,
fuck. Do you think it like it pulled the real you out from in there? Like, it's like all, like you didn't even know it was in there.
How we were saying, like, that's not the real actual you.
Yeah.
Like, yes, it showed me to, like, because the person was saying, oh, that wasn't actually me. It was the drugs. I was underneath all of that. Yes, it made me realize, like, no, you're not a piece of shit, dude. You're not some punk rock spit on someone's face and steal.
You just want love, bro.
Yes, I wanted love. I wanted to be cool when I was a kid, really bad.
Well, I'm just saying, like the essence of everyone's being in this whole world. Like, the one thing, like, what are you kind of leaning towards more than anything? Love, man.
Yes, yes, that is the goal.
Yeah.
That is what we all want, is to be loved and to love. That showed me a lot of things. And I still had a really rough go from there. Like, I still had a rough go at being a father. I still had a rough go at drug addiction. I never was addicted to heroin as a teenager, but later on, around 19 years old, I picked it up randomly. Get this, because it made my voice sounded cool when I would record music.
No, stop.
I'm not joking. That's how it initially started, is I liked the way it made my voice sound. Now, it turned into a real addiction, but even then, I kind of managed it and maintained it to where it was never anything public. It was never anything that, like, was like, holy shit, Joseph, go to rehab, but it was always a problem. But I wasn't perfect after that psilocybin trip, is what I'm saying. Right. But the DMT trip that I had, that did a whole nother mind wipe and changed a bunch of perspectives on me too. That is a whole different ball game. I recommend, if you feel like you have the mental capacity to handle it and you can be in a safe environment and you can do it in a controlled environment, even if you can go to a therapist in a state where it's legal, I recommend hallucinogenic therapy, psychedelic therapy. It's really good. DMT really helped me too.
I study a lot of this shit, and I kind of like, I have my projections for where I think the future is going to be with it. And I think that psilocybin especially, but like a lot of these hallucinogenics are going to, like, 65-year-old Debbie is taking fucking psilocybin in 3 years for sure. Like, they have so much fucking success rate with people in depression and anxiety and PTSD and all this shit, and I'm so excited for it. So yeah, dude, thanks for sharing your fucking story. That's so awesome that you shared that.
It was an immense change.
Would you like to share your DMT one as well?
Oh, that one's good. That's not so long. That one's a quick one. Okay. So that one was a whole different. So the first one was psilocybin, and they all react differently to you, and you react differently to them. The best way I ever heard someone put it is acid is like you're the driver, and psilocybin is like you're the passenger. DMT is like, what the fuck is a car?
I'm on a rocket.
Yeah. So I did DMT. I was with my ex at the time. This was before any of our really toxic things have happened, and everything was honeymoon and great vibes. You know what I mean? I'm in a hotel room with a lovely shag carpet. It was great. Perfect setting. You know what I mean? I never seen a hotel room with a love seat. That was great. Or no, not a love seat, but like a full, it was like a house. It was lovely. So it got presented to me. I didn't plan on doing it. It just kind of popped up. We were offered it. We go to this hotel room. We do it. I kind of did this weird thing where I broke through, but I did something which is really rare. Breaking through is, you could trip out on DMT, or you could break through, which is like a life-changing experience. Like, you blast off into the cosmos, and you know when you broke through, because it's like you come out of it crying and shit. You could either have a little trip or you could break through. I did this weird middle plane thing where I still had function over my body and I could walk around and control myself, but I was not fucking here, tell you that much. It basically did this for me. I felt everything bad that anybody had ever done to me in my life, all at one fucking moment.
Oh my God.
Every single wrong that had ever happened to me that I perceive as a wrong, my stepdad beating me, my father abandoning me, like just random things, you know what I mean? Yeah. Any wrong I ever perceived in life was thrown on me all at once, and it was in the metaphor of mud dolloping on me and like caking me down till I was like in a fetal position. And when it was all on me and I felt like I was going to suffocate, at this one moment, this light appeared in my mind and it told me to just let it all go. And I forgave and I mean this, I'm not just saying this as like, oh, I was tripping out. And this is why I don't like to talk about DMT, because it makes you seem very like hippie-ish. I'm very skeptical and not a very spiritual person, guys. Like, this is very evident to me, what happened to me. Everything that I ever felt in my life that happened to me, I forgave people. Everybody who ever did anything, I forgave.
Imagine the fucking power of that.
And the mud flang off of me in like this weird explosion. And it was like those memes where you see the chick like fling her hair out of the water all sexy, or Jason Momoa. I did that and the mud flew off of me. And then I felt every bad thing I had ever done to somebody else.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Rough.
That was way worse. Yeah, way fucking worse. All the things I had done to somebody.
So how, God, our psyches are so fucking, like, how could you possibly just pull all of that? Like, all right, here's everything. I've been taking a tally in the back of my mind and all of it's right here, and I just tip the bucket over. So like, how does our psyche understand that?
It was so like crazy. Walking through a long corridor with 1,000 to 1,000,000 doors on each side, and each door you look in, there's you having a conversation with yourself, and you know each conversation as they're going on, you know exactly what was being said. Oh, it was insane. But then in the sense, in that same instant that I felt all the wrongs I did, I forgave myself. And one thing that rang true in my head was, we are not our fault. We are not defined by our faults. The bad things you've done are bad. You shouldn't have done them, but that's not you. And that goes with this whole cancel culture shit. That's why I don't feel it like other people feel it. I don't feel the need to take this man's livelihood away, or this woman's. You're not defined by that. I'm sorry. You're not the bad things you did in life.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's exceptions. Like, if you're fucking Ted Bundy, you're kind of your faults. Okay?
Chill.
But for the most part, for us everyday people, man, don't define yourself by the bad things you did. That's something I struggle with every day to this day, is I am the bad things I've done. Yeah. But I'm not. I'm
fucking not.
They're just bad things that I've done.
Yeah.
They're not
they're
me,
just
man.
they're just things in my life that are like, hey, you need to learn about this the more than you know.
Yeah.
Like, you
look inward.
Trip over some shit sometimes, you know?
What did you do that brought you to that point? It can't all just be my nurture. It can't all just be what happened to me. What is your nature? What part did you play in this? I once got cheated on, and I'm not even playing. I really, and I know it's not my fault. She shouldn't have cheated on me. That's okay. I get it, guys. I really evaluated what I was doing to cause myself to get cheated on. I didn't have my own place at the time. I was kind of a loser. I was sleeping on a couch or in my car. I didn't have any motivation. You know what I mean? I wasn't like being everything I could, like, and I evaluated, like, how could I have prevented this? You know what I mean?
Right.
I still shouldn't have got cheated on, and I hope you fucking know that you broke my fucking heart. But I did weigh out, what did I do to make myself cheat onable?
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You got to bring that awareness. There's two sides to every story.
I was being a lame. I was so poor. But yeah, there is.
I want to swing back to your band. I don't want to miss that, just because that's new info to me.
Yes.
So I didn't know you as, I mean, we used to skate together back in the day. Not that I like fucking super know you now at all either, but
nobody really does.
Tell me about, do you write the music? Like, because I'm asking as someone who is, I'm a new musician. I've been a DJ for a while, but I'm not a musician. I'm getting less afraid to show people the world my shit, but it still sucks. And I hope it's good in 15 years, but so I'm just really curious about bands and writing.
I think we are very much so in the same either mind, whether it's true or not. We're very much so in the same state of mind, in the same realm right now. Where on the way over here, I was like, Jake is my DJ friend. He knows about music, not me. Like, so you know what I mean? Even I am in that realm of like, all I know is how to hit notes. That's all I got, baby. I got pipes. That's it.
Yeah.
And I actually wanted to we're going to be doing a lot of things on our YouTube channel that is an interview series based around the fact that I don't know shit about music and all my friends do.
Yeah.
Yes. My friends are super knowledgeable and I want to ask them about it, you know?
Yeah.
I don't write music per se. My friend does all the guitar. He comes to me with ideas, or I come to him with ideas. Scotty Bisconer, my fucking guitarist, he's amazingly talented. He's one of the more talented musicians in terms of guitar, I would say, in the Pacific Northwest. And he's in a really great band called Outlet. They're signed to Tent City Records. He's the lead singer of that. Check that band out. Okay. Outlet. And he does all of the guitar picky stuff. Every once in a while, I'll bust out a fucking harmonica or a tambourine or something, you know? Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I have a harmonica on me right now. I always keep one on me. I keep that thing on me.
Bet you don't?
Yeah. I guarantee you I do. But we write it really cohesively and almost jam band like, where he comes to me with something and I will just start singing and it inevitably becomes a song. But right now we're about 4 songs deep into our first album EP. We don't really know what it's going to be. Our band is called Stay in Prison. Our first project is going to be called Four Loko Green Apple Strong Cider Henny.
It's Four Loko, fuck.
It's a grocery list that my friend had one day. And
amazing.
I love it. I didn't know I was a musician. I kind of sung in private when I was a kid, and I did a lot of impersonation singing. Like if a song came on the radio, I was really good at sounding just like that guy, whether it be Phil Collins or...
I'm going to put my voice like this. Dude, yes. I love doing like Garth Brooks or like whatever.
Friends in Low play. Yes, yeah. I was great at doing that and also changing the lyrics. I've never sung a song correctly in my fucking life. She will vouch for this.
I'm pointing at my girlfriend upstairs too, because Shaylee's going to be laughing so hard when she hears this, because what I love to make her. I just love to make her laugh by changing the lyrics.
I am the Weird Al of my life. So I never really took it seriously though, much like stand-up comedy when I was a kid. I was just like, oh, that's something that I kind of do that's cute, but I'm not like passionate about being a singer. Around like 4 or 5 years ago, my cousin died. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. It inspired me to pull myself out of that I am not my job at the chicken factory thing, you know? And I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Journalism, singing, comedy, and I started teaching myself how to sing, mostly by just being in my car and being very, very loud and obnoxious. And every day I would get a little bit better and a little bit better. And then people started to hear me singing because I had friends who were musicians. And then people are starting to ask me to be in their band. And then people are starting to ask me to be in their projects. And that's how I met Jake, the bass player for Rosetan. Oh, yeah. We were in a little project called Ross Avenue fucking about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Cool name too.
Jake is the shit. One of my favorite musicians in town.
He's a good dude.
Love that guy. Me and him jammed very well together, and I love Rosetan. But then eventually, much like we were saying, where it becomes evident, like I put something out and people go, hey, that's good. I sing and people are like, hey, sing in my band. And I'm like, okay, I did it. I weaseled myself I made people think that I am a musician. I'm not. I just taught myself how to sing 2 years ago. So I'm learning as I go. It's a learning process every day. I'm learning how to record. I'm learning how to structure music. Luckily, my friends are fucking geniuses. Right. I have a lot of support and help in that realm. I know I'm in the scene, luckily. Right. I weaseled my way into it. Whereas if I was just in my living room or in my bedroom making YouTube videos, doing my own thing and not putting myself out there, not going out there and, oh, you play guitar? Play, let me sing, or just meeting people and put yourself out there in the art that you want to be in. Mm-hmm. And eventually that bobber is going to dunk under and someone's going to ask you to do something, or you're going to get to do it. That's great. Don't not make videos at home. Right. Keep doing that, but definitely try to put yourself out there in the scene, because if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be in a band right now.
And I think don't wait till you think you're good too. Like don't wait till you because me, I'm
singing.
Well, okay, right.
Get a little good. Hey, but with stand-up comedy, I don't care if you suck ass. Get out there and do open mics, dude.
Right. Open mics are a super important thing. We were talking about that. We'll just flip the script on that. So open mics, I think a lot of times when we go out to see, let's say we're just someone who doesn't do any creative. We're never up on the stage. We're just someone who consumes. We're someone who just goes out to bars. We go out to comedy clubs once in a while. We see comedians. As an audience member, we have a job, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like I think that, and we can dive into hecklers too. Like I'd love to talk about the ridiculousness of hecklers.
I was just gonna say, I don't think people realize they have a job, and they oftentimes get their job confused.
Right, bro. Okay, so let's dive into that. I think I feel very strongly about this, and I'm looking forward to hearing your opinion because as a DJ.
You deal with a different kind of heckler.
It's a different kind.
You
but
deal with drunk girl coming up with $1 bill telling you to play Usher, yeah.
Yes, fuck. This song is a bane of my existence. Every time someone's gonna mention that fucking song, man. Usher, no. It's hilarious. But yeah, dude, it's super true. I think that people don't see it as a two-sided relationship. They don't understand, like, the same as like a girl coming up to me with a song request saying, I want to hear the song. Okay, well, if I took everybody's favorite song in this room, there's 150 people. If I took 150 songs, it's everybody's favorite song, and I fucking mash them together, it'd be garbage. It'd be fucking trash.
Just try it.
Your opinion sucks.
Yeah.
Shut up. Let me work. I know what I'm doing. Dude, literally, it's like you're trying out society. You're like, where's society at? How can I push against it? I'm like reading this room. I'm looking at what you're wearing from head to toe the second you walk in the door and seeing what your vibe might be like.
It's been my goal for the past month to make sure that this is good. Don't you get that? You've just been thinking about it for the last 3 minutes.
I've been working on it 24/7. Like me when I'm DJing, every time I get in my car, I'm looking at what's hot. I'm looking at the new songs. I'm like liking it. I'm putting it into this place. I'm putting it in that place. I'm listening to lyrics. I'm literally making mashups in my head as I'm driving to the gym for my gig next fucking 18th of the month. Like, and you're doing the same thing. Your life is being worked at all times.
I actually was hoping that we would get to something along these lines of conversation because I have a big love-hate relationship with crowds, man. It's because I've done a lot of local shows, bar shows, comedy shows. I performed in every aspect you can think of. I've hosted concerts. You've DJ'd the concerts I've hosted. I've seen all different kinds of shows and all different kinds of people. So there's different kinds of audience members and there's different kinds of people and there's different kinds of venues. I could say for a fact that you do have a job as an audience member, and it is not to be a part of the show in any more of a factor than to laugh. If I ask you a question, answer me. If I ask the crowd a question, answer me. Trust me, the thing that you just thought of is not as good as the punchline that I've been thinking of for the past 3 years and practicing. And you're throwing me off, and now I have to make the whole thing. Now I sound like a dick, I know, but you guys, I love you, and I want you to keep coming, but
let me work.
Just know this thing, okay? And there's a big difference between performing in a bar and performing in a comedy club. I call it combat comedy when you perform in a bar. When you perform in a bar, it's make me laugh. When you perform at a comedy club, it's make me laugh.
Yeah, I'm ready to laugh.
Yes, I am here to laugh. Let's do this. People in bars tend to think that their job and what comedy is my ability to react to them. That is not what being a stand-up comedian is. That's what being a person is. Dude, my ability to react to what you're saying. Yeah. That is not what's going on here. You are not on the flyer. You're not on the bill. It's not Joseph and audience. It is Joseph Crumb. Just let me do my thing, guys. I will talk to you guys. I'll come out in the crowd, trust me. But just let things happen the way they're going to happen. You have no idea how nerve-wracking it is when you're about to say something and somebody else says something and you have to switch and then go back to that thing, and then the thing loses its power. Dude,
you can. Timing is everything. That's like a typical saying, but literally you could miss the beat and fall off the joke.
Yeah, and a lot of people, I don't think they realize when they're seeing me perform is a lot different when they're seeing other stand-up comedians perform, because I lost my ability to drive because I fell asleep in a Taco Bell drive-thru very drunk one night. Don't do it. And it makes it very hard to get to open mics and perform like I used to. It makes it hard to get to open mics and perform like I used to. In 2016, I was at every single one. But I can't do that now. So a lot of times, the only time I perform all year is when I get booked for a gig. I am very thankful for the fact that I am a 4-year comedian and I get booked for gigs. That's unheard of. You don't get booked for gigs till you're 10 years in usually, so I'm very lucky in that sense. But that means that most comedians, when you see their half hour or their 15 minutes or their hour, they have been doing it every night, repeatedly, over and over and over again. I perform once a month, once every 2 months to the same crowd, which means I have to write a new thing every month, half hour long, and I can't say the same thing because you guys were there last month. and I don't get to practice it at all. And when you talk, that's scary, man.
Yeah.
And now I hope you guys like think about my performances where they haven't like gone so great at Blue Sky or whatever, and frame it in that sense that half-hour speech I told, that was the first time I ever told it. I didn't get to practice it. I didn't get to go to open mics. I am different than other comedians. I don't get that privilege.
Dude, I think that being a small town comedian or being a small, like I always say it with DJs too, like if you can impress a crowd as a DJ in a small town of people who don't realize that they're even opinionated, but that's what they're being.
I'm not scared of shit.
Dude, it's good. You learn the diverse things, and you also are forced to you can't just beat the same horse. It's like, even if a joke killed, for me, like I was looking back at my Mixcloud the other day, I was like updating my like names on there, because like kind of fading out the Kronos name. And I was like fucking looking back at my old catalog from like 2015, 2014. And I was like, I got like, 50 mixes on here or whatever. And like, they're each an hour long, and there's each like so much fucking time that I put in, because a lot of them were shows. A lot of them were like specific nights at the club. Like I always tried to treat the night as a one special moment in time. Like, and when you listen to the mix, you can kind of go back to that. And I feel like as a comedian writing in a small town, when you're really trying to write like what's going on right now and where am I? And
but you have to abandon those mixes, huh?
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Once I release them, especially online, I don't even like to use the same transitions between two songs anymore.
Earlier, we were talking over the phone about Andrew Schultz and how he's kind of changed the way people are viewing comedy, in the sense of less is more. Like, I can't tell you, if you come to see me and you've already seen my hour online, you're not going to laugh. You're going to actually be very mad at me. Yeah. It's not like music where play the hits. There's only been one or two comedians who have ever been able to do that in the history of mankind. That's Andrew Dice Clay and Sam Kinison, I think, maybe. We can't do that. So usually you're not going to see a lot of output from stand-up comedians. And once I let something out to you guys, if I put something on Facebook, if I put something on Instagram, that's it. That's it.
Yep,
I don't get to. That's it. I don't get to replay it. I don't get to tell it again.
Yeah.
I don't get to use it on stage. You're going to be really mad at me if I start reciting my Facebook posts on stage and you paid $10-$20 to see me. You're going to be very upset, and I'm not trying to fight. So, but yeah, and I think that's the mix is the very same thing. And I can't get married to things, but I also have to protect certain aspects. Like, there's bits that I have that I love that people are never going to see until you come and see me. You're never going to see it on Facebook. You're never going to see it on Instagram. I will not give this up until it's on my first hour special. But Andrew Schultz, he comes in and says, okay, that's great. I'm going to film every set I have, and every bit that I can give away, everyone that I can give up for adoption, everyone that I can abort, piece of crowd work that I'm not married to. And a piece of crowd work can turn into a bit. He could have took that 3-minute clip and took that piece of crowd work and fleshed it out and materialized it and saved it for his hour special. And then people would have watched the first 20 minutes of it on Netflix, and then they would have clicked off, and he's a white male and he wouldn't have got that much traction. What he did instead was put all these 3-minute, 4-minute, 5-minute clips and flooded Instagram and Facebook, and changed the way Facebook comedians and stand-up comedians and online comedians, just how you operate, changed it completely. I need to start doing that as well. I'm not going to be able to do that until I start regularly doing open mics, though.
Right.
I got to get out there and do open mics. I have footage of me on stage, but like I said, I don't put it out because I fucking like those jokes and I want to keep telling them. Right. But we are in a new age with social media, a TikTok age, a Vine age, whatever you want to call it, where that hour-long special a year, that is not conducive to how the fucking internet works anymore. That is
next.
No, that's not going to work, bud. I want more every day, all the time. Okay, luckily to you motherfuckers, I'm funny 24/7. But hold on, let me figure out how I'm going to put this out. I can't just throw it out there. I have to present it in a pretty way to make people even take it serious.
I feel like Andrew Schultz was doing a lot of, because wasn't he on with like Charlemagne? Didn't they have a podcast together?
The Brilliant Idiots. I was just listening to it the other day. It's good shit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he was smart, and it's kind of look at what Joe Rogan does as a comedian. Like, what he started doing is like, where do you get good content? It's from fucking regular conversation.
Yeah,
like you get out there and you just keep doing stuff. It sounds like you've been doing a lot of shit too, just trying to like keep working, keep the momentum going.
Trying to put out, that's totally derailed everything I had going. But putting out an hour-long special a year at this point is like putting out a 15-minute podcast and expecting to get something out of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're gonna need more. You gotta
work way harder.
I need more, and it's like, okay, I'll give it, but
okay. So so we were talking about audience, and then we're talking about just kind of the different comedy in a live setting and comedy on social media. What's our audience on social media? Like, do they have a job? Is there because like you can't just let it turn into a fucking cesspool of comments too. Like there's also an audience on the other end of.
I'm in the midst of trying to figure out how to monetize this and make it a thing. Now I don't think I've ever actually said this on recording, and I hope nobody from any other art takes this in a bad way. It's not anything I'm saying about this art. It's just kind of the way comedy gets treated. My jokes don't get treated the same way my photography friends' photos get treated. My jokes don't get treated the same way my friend's song gets treated. You know what I mean? There's a different realm of support for jokes and for comedy than there is for other things, and you kind of have to do it on your own.
Yeah, do I personally feel this specific content or not? Not, oh, this is a great joke from my friend who I want to support in this way.
Yeah, exactly. Like my friends don't share my stuff because they're being supportive of me. They only share my stuff when I really make them laugh.
Yeah. And so if it has nothing to do with them personally, the joke itself.
I even have to win over my fucking friends. Wow. It's pretty sick. But luckily, my friends love me and they're great and they share my shit all the time. So that's wonderful. But there's just a different way that the audience, when it comes to stand-up comedy in person and on the internet, they're way different things. The way your friends react. I don't expect anything from my friends or family. I know that that's not the way anybody becomes successful. You need a good support system. Yes, you need people to believe in you. That helps. You also need people to not believe in you. But you have to just let your content go onto the internet and speak for itself.
I think when it comes, support is always a fucking weird word to me. I always felt weird about people supporting me just because they know me. Yeah. I would always say like people like would repost my stuff and say, come support Jake because he's local. And I'm like, what if you don't like the music? Yeah. Don't fucking come out, man. I don't want to take your time tonight if you don't like this shit.
What if it's bad?
I want to say, here's what I'm doing. And if that's the thing that you're into, like come enjoy it and let's have a wonderful time together. Like, and I feel like it's like you almost have to do that. Like,
well, it's like, hey, do we need to do cocaine to self-promote? On the internet?
Yes.
Like we were saying earlier, like the people who need to have it to feel something, to like let their dreams out. Do I need to do a line to post something saying, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian, will you come to my show? Because that is my biggest downfall. I'm very bad at branding myself and putting myself out there and going, hey guys, will you support this? Will you share this? Will you come to my show?
Well, it's the same thing. It's like, it's almost like believing in yourself out loud. Like you almost, it's like you get, look at like Russ, you know, the rapper Russ.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
you introduced me to Russ 4 years ago.
Holy fuck.
I sent you, I was working out at the gym and I was like, send me some music. And you sent me Russ.
Oh man. Fuck, I love him. Right next to you, there's fuck it, I'll do it myself on the wall.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah. But so him, like, there's not really a world that exists like in our society. If you believe in yourself, you can't really say it. No, you can't really like be about that.
Someone else has to say it.
Yeah, it's almost like what if you really in your fucking heart like you think you're Neo? Like you're like, dude, I'm like, I literally like, I think like you can't say that out loud because people are like, you're not. It's a weird barrier that exists.
I'll make myself super uncomfortable right now. Here's something I never say out loud, and I just said to her yesterday. This is very narcissistic. I think I have obtained a certain level of comedic genius. I know that sounds crazy, guys, but that's what we're talking about is people are scared to say these things about themselves.
It shouldn't be.
They're afraid.
It shouldn't be.
Fuck it. Just say it. What is it going to hurt? People are going to think I'm crazy? Good. Talk about me. Talk about how crazy I am. Make people go look me up.
Yeah. What? Yeah, for real. Talk about me. Get my name out there. What if somebody walks up to me in the street and they say, man, I think you're crazy. You can be like, oh, wow, that's crazy. And you can walk away. Your life is not meant by other people's fucking reactions to what you say or their opinions of it.
But then again, it's not also like it's an amalgamation of what your definition of yourself is, what you actually are, and what exists in the ethos that is not to be judged or predetermined by anybody. Just like what your state is. Like if a non-biased like entity came here, like what would they think of you? There's what people think of you, what you think of you, and then what the gods would think of you.
Where does it all exist?
I don't know. Hey, have you ever tried DMT?
Wee. Dude, I'm glancing at my notes here. I'm breaking the third wall.
Third wall. It's the fourth wall, actually.
The fourth wall.
Yes.
Joe, when's the last time you changed your mind about something?
Dude, all the fucking time. All the time. I think that is one of my biggest strengths.
It's such a strength, isn't it?
Yes.
I am people change their mind all the time.
And she probably thinks I'm crazy for that. And when I say she, guys, I'm referring to my girlfriend that's sitting behind me. She probably thinks I'm crazy for this because I will get mad about something or will argue about something. And within 3 seconds, I'm like, hey, I'm sorry. Dude, I was so wrong about that. You were right. You were right. And she'll think I'm fucking with her. I'm not fucking with you. I really think I was wrong. Like I changed my mind. Yeah. And the ability to change your mind, the ability to say, I don't know, the ability to say I was wrong is one of the things that is like so punished these days, but also super valuable. Right. As a human being, when I see that in somebody, I value that so much. But I also understand that it's super dangerous to do that in today's day and age. Your whole entire word can be thrown away if you don't believe the same shit that you believed when you were 13.
Right.
Like, hey, you tweeted that Digimon was better than Pokemon when you were 13. Canceled. Like, I don't think that way anymore, guys. Like, that's a different person. Better? I think Digimon's better. But no, it's the same thing of like, I change my mind all the time. And probably the last thing I really like had a heavy like, well, shit, there's the coronavirus thing. Every other week, every other day, I'm sure that I need my mask. I need my gloves. I need to be as safe as I possibly can. Yeah. We need to be patriotic and do the heroic thing and stay inside. And then the next day, I was completely wrong, But that's more of a day-to-day thing that everyone is kind of changing their mind on. If I really had to pinpoint something that I changed my mind on, where I think that this is wrong, I got it. Boom. Just popped up in my Facebook memories today. 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, and maybe you remember this. This is when I first got on Facebook and social media. 2.5 years ago, I promised myself to never argue online again. And I did it.
No shit.
I've not gotten in an argument on social media. And when I say argument, I mean, I don't even bother. If I disagree with you, I'll state my one thing. I'll let you say your thing. I'll say, you know what? I see so many ways in which you're right. I love you. Goodbye. And everybody is always usually like, what the fuck? Okay, sure. Yeah. Or I'll compliment someone's hair. She knows this. Like, I'll just randomly, if I feel like an argument is about to happen, I'll be like, dude, your hair is so dope. Right. And people will be super thrown off by it, but I just don't want to argue. 3 years ago, that's the big thing I changed my mind on because it was draining me as a person. It was making me feel bad. It was making me angry. My significant other at the time tapped on my shoulder one day while I was in the middle of a heated Facebook argument, and I snapped around and like, what? And in that moment, I realized oh my God, this dude from Colorado arguing with me about whatever is affecting my mood to where I just snapped at my girlfriend.
Right.
Like, even though I wasn't mad, she tapped my shoulder and I got kind of alarmed, but still. And 2018, New Year's Day, I promised myself to never do that again and that it's pointless. I'm not changing anybody's mind. The best thing I can do is find ways that those people relate to me.
Yeah.
And then let them find their way to my beliefs on their own, if they want to. It's not my job to make anyone think anything.
Right.
I used to really think that part of my purpose on this earth, and that's where I guess this is where I changed my mind. I used to want to be a journalist, like really, really bad. After my cousin got killed in the jail by the corrections officers, I was super social justice warrior and everything. It changed my life. And not SJW, but I was very just like, this is cause. Yes, activist. And where were we?
Wanting to be a journalist.
Okay, so. But what were we speaking of? Changing my mind. Yes, I used to think it was my job to change people's mind. To convince.
Like I see things that other people don't see.
No, like I am just and I am righteous and you guys are wrong. And if I am good at speaking, I always have been. And if I can in any way articulate my point of view in some way that can lead someone to the light as I saw it, then that is my purpose. I really thought that. No, that's not my job. My job is to relate to people. My job is to get people to relate to me, and my job is to understand people and get them to understand me. It's not to change their mind. Like,
see, it's interesting as you were telling me that you had that position. I had a very, very similar position, but mine was always like, okay, I can be the one who solves the problem for everyone immediately. Like people are arguing in the comments. Okay, I see your side. I'm sitting there. I'll take an hour with a Facebook comment sometimes, or not anymore. I used to a few years ago, and I would be like, because I do see Janet's side, but also Debbie, you're being a total asshole, and Clint, Clint, I know his background, so I know why he's being like this.
Yeah,
like it's like I would try to solve these problems, and I'd try to get like one hard hitting comment that's way too long to read, and I'll get 38 likes, motherfucker, and that would like reassure me. But it'd be fucking we love it, but then it's like, what was I really solving an argument? Like, were these people really having like a logical argument in the first place?
And
like,
you're spreading yourself so thin by understanding.
It's been an hour of my life,
and I see what you're saying, Debbie, but also Jim's, you're spreading yourself so thin, because that was my thing, was I felt like I was the only logical person. Are you guys not all seeing this from every perspective at all times?
I do that same shit.
Yeah. I think that we're very similar in that sense, in a major way.
Well, I'm more logical about that whole situation. But go.
Okay, sure. I feel like I am sometimes the only person who's seeing it from all perspectives, but at the same time, I feel like you could all easily see it if I just word it the right way. And then you're going to go ding and be like, hey, we all are kind of right. But no.
What a trap.
Everyone thinks they're so right, just like I do. I think I am so right in the sense that we're all right, when probably one of us is actually more right. But it doesn't fucking matter, is my point. We should just be relating to each other and just finding what we do. Then we can start to adore each other. Once we relate to each other, then we can admire each other. Once we admire each other, we can start to copy each other. Be like, hey, I fucking like Jake. He's funny. Also, he does this thing really healthy over there. All your shit that's set up. I'm doing that when I get home, bro. Your schedule on your wall.
Oh yeah. So I haven't been following it the last couple months. I'm thrown for a loop, but I would love to talk you through it. That's like my like ADHD corner. See, I think that I've mastered it. But
I relate to you, then I admire you, then I copy your actions. You can't just be like, hey guys, you should think this, and then expect people to be like, oh ding, duh,
right.
He's right.
Wow. Okay. So I actually had you just helped me explain kind of like, we're always trying to figure out ourselves, like, why am I the way I am? So I'm always like, oh, I'm a super chameleon personality. I'm like, how, because that like naturally it's like, how can I fit into this? And I think it's for me, youngest, I have 3 older sisters, and I was probably around a bunch of people, and I'm probably like, how do I just like fit in with whoever I'm with right here? That's probably where I was born of. But so chameleon personality, when I'm always trying to like, I'm just trying to find where we level with each other. Like where, like, so you, like next time that we hang out, all this information that we just shared amongst these 4 hours, whatever.
That static level where we can all operate.
Yeah. And so you start having that with like individual people, like, and it's almost like different sides of your personality. It's like, I don't know. I just think that I want to advocate for being a chameleon, kind of. Yeah. Like just like, it's not, watch when you're not being true to yourself. Don't laugh at things and just agree to things and say yes when you don't want to say yes, but find what you connect with.
If I had to guess, I would say that's more of a natural state to be in, is I am not one thing, and I am constantly changing with each person I am around. When you step into a situation around new people in different situations, and you don't try to find that level ground, you don't try to find that static level, and you just go, this is what I think, that's how you start wars. That's how you fist fight people. That's how you ruin a party. That's how you have awkward meetings. Find that level. That's the natural state that people are supposed to be in, I think, where we are constantly changing with each person we're around, because just like there's that thing where like a cell changes every time you observe it. Like anytime you observe something, every time we're around somebody, we become a different cell. You become a different version of you. And I think that's okay. Like, that's important. You should be getting aspects of each of that, pulling it all in to make like one, okay, I've pulled in from all these different realms of thing, and then I've reached this realm of like absolution. This is cool. I've reached from the people I know over here, the people I know over here, and I didn't step into those situations going, I am this, and I'm going to leave as this.
Right. I think it's a good practice of being those people in those situations. And then for me, I know that something that was really good for my mental health, because I would get too caught up in being what everybody else needs, of being everybody's everything. Like that little Peep documentary.
I didn't want to call you out, but
I was trying to take that. I'm like, I took it from the wall, bro. But like trying to be that without kind of like resurfacing back at home, without like coming back into your own brain when you're like, for me, like the, the introverted, like just recharging function of like, be everybody's everything, but come back and like make sure you kind of focus and center on yourself. So like it might be, you don't have to like Tony Robbins, like manifestation sort of thing. You don't have to like do your mantras, but like when you get back home, maybe you have some sort of like, I'm a comedian and I know who I am and I want to be this kind of person to these kind of people. I know I jumped a big gap here. Yeah. But
I'm wanting more and more every day to just be a human and a person and not a comedian.
Ooh, okay.
Right. I'm finding myself bummed out that I don't have normal social media. I don't have a social media where I can post my food and go, dinner date with my girlfriend today, or had a hard day. I don't get to do that. If you don't have something funny to say, don't say anything at all. That's what my social media is. And I wish so badly sometimes to just be a person, to just not have to define myself by what is over here on social media, what is in my mind of who I am in terms of an artist or a creator. I just wish I could be plain Jane sometimes and just be normal. Right. And what is normal, right? I know that, but
be able to say what you want without any sort of like filter. Like
to just have what everybody else has, where I don't have the expectation to be funny because I'm not a stand-up comedian. I can just say things. I get introduced by people as a stand-up comedian sometimes, and instantly I'm like, oh, now I don't get to be normal. Shit. Like, fuck. I don't get to just sit here and be quiet now. But I find myself more and more every day wishing that. And I could make it. I could go and do it, but I don't think that I would get the same validation that I get, or the same thing, or I don't even think I would like it, maybe. I would be like, this is fucking boring. And I inevitably would end up posting something hilarious anyways.
Right.
I don't think that I can be, here's my dog, and check out my fucking lawnmower. I don't think I can be that guy. I don't know. But I want to be. That'd be fucking dope.
Maybe one day, maybe that'll be the new retirement. Maybe it'll be like in the future, it'll be like, oh, now that you're over this age and you've done these things in your life, we're going to give you're on the private social media accounts. Yeah. You get on this, and everybody's over the age of 65. Please. They don't have to be anything other than themselves.
Let me have
post
that.
Old people naked nudes here, whatever the fuck we want.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I don't, I actually have never taken a nude in the sense of like, this is, if you saw that picture, you'd be like, that's Joseph naked. Have you? Like a full body nude? Have you ever done that?
Yeah, for sure. And I have a lot of tattoos that would just be like, I mean, they're probably in my phone, but they're probably less about the nude.
You got to ask me. And I don't have any saved, so I have to go to my bathroom now at my aunt's house.
Dude, I was thinking about this at my aunt's house.
I don't have these on hand.
Bathroom? Wait, what if she has the only full body mirror?
Exactly. I'm not at her house. I drove over there. She just has a really good mirror.
Oh, you're like, I just need his bathroom.
But no, I don't know. I've never done anything like that. Sorry to take it to that place. I was just wondering. I'm weird about nudes, and I'm really bad at flirting on social media. I don't do it. Even when I'm single and everything like that, I'm very bad at it. This is how she got me. She just sent me a fire emoji.
Okay.
And then we met each other. We met each other 2 days later.
That's all you need.
That's all. If she would have said anything more, I would have been like,
Too much. Now I got to elaborate on my thoughts and think back.
I'm not good at it, man.
Hey, what have you been doing during the quarantine, and what is next in the comedian world and in your world? So like, it's obviously when it first hit, it was a big like punch in the gut for just everybody doing anything.
It's really scary.
I don't know what the fuck to do, but like, what's next? Like not what are you avidly doing every day, but like, what are you thinking of? Where's your head at with what's next?
Right out the gate, Corona happened. 2 shows got canceled. My first show for my band and another comedy show that we had planned in April, both got canceled. So, okay, got to rework. What am I doing now? Because I'm not allowed to be a stand-up comedian, so now I'm an internet comedian. So what are we going to do? Trust me when I say this, you're going to want to be following me on social media in the next month or 2.
No doubt. Give your ads real quick if we haven't.
Follow me on Instagram at Crumb Guzzler, CRUMB_GUZZLER. Same spelling on Twitter, but an underscore at the end, at Crumb Guzzler _Guzzler. At Crumb _Guzzler _. You get it. And then Joseph Crumb on Facebook. But I basically went into content creation mode. Whether or not I was going to put it out that day or not, I just started writing and recording things like a flippin' maniac. And I've gone viral a good amount of times in the past like half year, a good like 6, 7, 8 times. And so I was like, okay, I'm kind of resting on my laurels without I have a new audience. I have a good whole new crop of people who are just now introduced to me. What am I going to do? I have a backlog of videos on my phone that would make it's ridiculous, dude.
Of just clips that you can
of things that I probably will never be able to put on the internet with and be able to go back to my family and look at them with a content. Straight face. Yes, dude. I have a lot of material that is ready to go. I have been saving up and writing. So basically my plan is this. I'm going on a full social media attack as soon as I have all this stuff edited and everything set up, kind of like the format of when I do. Me and Stay in Prison, the band, we're getting our YouTube set up today. I'm meeting with Scotty after I leave here. You guys will be able to follow all that. If you check out my Instagram and my Twitter, you'll be directed to there. But as soon as I get done with this whole COVID stuff, I'm just going to be releasing as much content with as many content creators and collaborating as much as I can, spending the money, really making stuff for you guys that's going to look good and feel good. Like you're going to look at it and be like, nice. And it's going to be hilarious because I'm hilarious. Mm-hmm. But then I'm going to be working with people like Max Payne. If you guys love Max, everybody loves him on the internet. We're going to be doing a lot of stuff. I'm going to be putting on my own shows. We're going to rent out venues. We're going to be doing backyard shows. Hopefully saving up and getting investors for the near future to own our own venue. We're going to be working on that. But that's basically it, is I'm really, really devoting my time to it like it's actually my job. No more I go to work and then I sometimes post funny stuff after my shift. I am actively working hard every day to put out content like I've never done before. I'm really, really trying to make it look professional, do it in a way that is going to shine back on me in a nice way and that people will want to share it and it'll look good. Right. Something to make me proud of at least too, because I've gone viral. I've done this before. It's not anything I haven't done. I know how to make my stuff pop and everything, but it's never really been anything I loved. And the comedy that I'm making right now is comedy that I fucking love. I enjoy making it and I enjoy watching it.
Good place to be.
I'm just flushing myself into it like I've never flushed into it before. This is what I'm going to do with my life. There's no other options. That's basically it. You'll be able to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all that good shit. And it's just going to be flooding.
Fuck yeah, dude.
As much as I possibly can.
I think that's amazing.
All I can do, really.
Yeah.
And then go into the stand-up shows, and we'll be putting shows like I always have built on probably once a month in town, and then I'll be going to open mics all the time, and people will be able to see me doing that and all that shit.
Yeah. Is there a constant open mic in our area? In Cowlitz County?
No, never. There's not an open mic.
Anybody listening, if you've ever had an urge to open up a little place or maybe go to a place and say, hey, I want to be the organizer of these things and I'm going to do it right.
That'd be great. And reach out to us. We're thinking about setting up one. The problem is with a small town is making it sustainable to where you have new people coming in every month and new comedians coming in every month. So most open mics are once a week. Ours would probably be bi-monthly or monthly. But we're looking to set that up too. Me and Andy Kiggins have been talking about that last time we did a show, setting up a more monthly regular thing. Yeah. You should get him on the show eventually too. Have you already?
Well, so technically we recorded my first 5 episodes of this podcast. I fucking deleted.
That's like
it was some
common.
Lame shit, bro. It was some, I saved them sloppily onto my desktop in a folder. And then when I re-recorded some more, I just replaced the same files because it was like file 001. And I was like, do you want to replace the files? They already exist. I'm like, of course I do. And I just deleted them. Like some just dorky shit to do.
Did you,
but hey, Andy was one of
Did you have like an actual like outward burst of anger? Was it visible? Or were you just like, because I'm the type of person, I'm going to be honest. You could like, have sex with like my mom, sorry mom, or like slap me in the face and I'll be like, oh, it's cool, but like I'll like accidentally like my lighter won't work and I will freak out? Did you have like an actual outburst of?
I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think back of like how my reactions are when I'm just by myself. Like, because I'm definitely not an aggressive person. I don't like freak out. I don't act like crazy, but sometimes I will be overly dramatic as fuck. Like,
I am.
No, like my hands are on my head and I'm like, no. And obviously the whole room goes,
yeah.
So
I often question, like, I don't know if I'm questioning God or just the ethos, but when something happens to me, I am a, face to the sky, why me person.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Why me? What have I done to you? I don't even know. To me,
it's always.
I don't know who you is.
No, to me, it is. I'm doing that exact same thing, but I know there's a mirror I'm looking at that's like, you fucker.
You did this to yourself.
Fucker. You know you did it. Like, because it's always shit that you should have done a little bit better. Like, I'm just throwing files on my, like, I'm so excited to start this podcast. In the first 5 episodes, I just named STE-001 through 5.
God.
You dick. But so anyway, yeah, that was our long rant, but Andy was on this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get him back in here. So Andy Kiggins is an event promoter. He's like been doing his thing, just learning as he goes the same way that we are. We've worked a lot of shows together. He's a smart dude.
All three of us often.
Yeah. We've, so let's see, like he's the one who got me booked with Chingy, Yin Yang Twins, Mike Jones, Afro Man. I'm just
Mark
dropping
Battles,
names so I sound cool.
A few other people. Has to be.
A lot of cool shows. But dude, and I haven't caught up with him in a while. So as soon as I'm trying to manage with the coronavirus, like how many people to have over, like how to keep the distance, how to be respectful, how to, my mom lives with me upstairs. I'm not trying to murder her, because that's the thing is like, is what a lot of, it's on a lot of our minds, I feel like, but we're not really allowed to talk about it, is like, as young kids,
killing your mom?
Well, okay, yes, no,
what?
Yes, killing your mom.
Let's keep going with this.
But as young, so we have this kind of cocky, like, I know I'm a pretty fucking healthy motherfucker. I like supplements, I work out, like all these things. I'm like, I'm gonna be fine if I get it. I feel pretty cocky about that. But like, there's also a selfish part of me that's like, well, my mom lives with me.
Yeah.
If I did get it, she's dead, or she might not. Actually, she's probably fine, but she is older.
Did you see the Michael Yo episode on Rogan?
Yeah, bro.
His mom got it and beat it. His mom.
Yeah, and she made fun of.
He's a young man, so but okay, this thing is,
dude. It's so vitamin D deficiency. Did you listen to the Dr. Rhonda Patrick?
Is that sun?
That's what we get it from the sun typically. But
some vitamin D for y'all.
This is 70% of people in America are vitamin D. Or are not vitamin D sufficient, and then 30% of people are vitamin D deficient, which means like they fucking need it. So everybody go on Amazon right now. Thorne, it's $15. THORNE. You can get 5,000. Yes, vitamin D. You can get a month's supply, I think, for $15 or $12 or something. Go on Amazon, do it.
I think I'm fine.
I think we're fine.
I think I'm
just
fine.
want to like fuck. Man, I don't know. I feel better even if it's placebo.
Yes,
it just makes me feel better.
All jokes aside, be as safe as you possibly can. But someone like me with an immune system like I have done some wild stuff.
You have the immunities,
dude. I don't even want to. I can't say in front of everybody.
Okay,
but
you know what you could tell me about is this time when I saw you got hit by a fucking van.
Remember that? That was cool, huh? Did I or did I not land on my fucking feet?
We're getting up here in time. I think we could probably send it off around here, but I would just love to end on. I got to make you tell this.
Jake
story,
saw me got ran over when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got kicked out of. It's going to be a short story, but let me give just some kind of backdrop to how cool we were when we were younger, because we were very cool young men in middle school. So I got kicked out of my middle school because they wouldn't let me call my mom. So I went on a rampage through the middle school, tearing out all the phones from each classroom as I went through the school. That got me kicked out. I went to Huntington Middle School and I met this young man sitting right across from us now. So we become friends. We start skating together, going to 8th grade and everything. We're full 2006 skinny as jeans as you can imagine.
I had a double lock haircut for
yes,
sure.
He sure did. My Chemical Romance t-shirts in full effect. Random parts of our shirts just cut off and wrapped around our ankles and arms for no reason. Eyeliner. A lot of eyeliner. Mm-hmm. And so we're skating one day, full emoed up, and there's this store that's kind of like, it kind of reminded me of a very New York type feel, where the store is like on a triangle Do you know what I mean? Like that, like you've seen buildings in New York that are like
this way or that way.
Yeah, there's that triangle building. Yeah. It's a store that's like that. And you go down one side of it and there's an embankment that goes into the street. I'm drinking the lovely beverage Vault at the time. I don't know if you guys remember 89-cent Vaults. Very good. I'm drinking this like it's a Mountain Dew commercial. I have my head tilted back and I'm skating down the embankment like it's just delicious. And I look down and wouldn't you know, a big red truck. There's this lady going about 30, 25 miles an hour in an SUV. Hits me perfectly on the corner, right? To where like I looked like probably like a hood ornament. I was just like hugging the front of her bumper and it popped me into the air. I did this weird 360. Somehow my feet ended up in the wheel well of the tire, I feel like. And I landed on my feet. I look up at Jake and Gunnar and is it Seth?
Yeah.
I look up at Jake and Gunnar and Seth and they all have like food falling out of their mouths. Like they're each in a different state of shock. One of them was crying in the fetal position. I feel like it was scary. Not really, but they were shocked. And I look up at them and I'm just laughing. I didn't
because you landed it, bro.
Yeah.
You got hit by a car and landed it.
It popped me a good 10 feet into the air. I did a little flip and I landed on my feet and I looked up at them and I just started cracking up. And that pretty much explains what my teenage years were like in a nutshell. Just me getting hit by cars, landing on my feet and going, ha!
It takes another sip of Vault.
Yeah.
Eats my third burrito.
And then I didn't go to the hospital. We didn't call the cops. We didn't call the ambulance. I actually went skateboarding later that day. And I continued my journey.
We had a weird life. I mean, yours was way more savage than mine in different ways, but like, it was weird, like what we did all the time.
What were you saying? You were saying earlier about someone was like, you were cool. One of the things that makes me feel great to this day is when I still run into people from when we were kids and they were like, dude, you were so cool. And I'm like, I know. I was that bad news bear kid, like who
my life was a mess. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Smoking cigarettes like in the lunchroom and just being bad. That was me. And it was great. And I don't regret a second of it. It was awesome. But to this day, people are like, you were cool. And I'm like, I was traumatized.
I was really hurting inside. Every day at school.
Not good.
Well, Joseph Crumb, I'm super glad that you came over.
I appreciate it. I love it. This was fun, dude.
Yeah.
Great times.
We could do this again. I'm glad that you came in here. Like I texted you, I was like, bro, I think I might've mentioned like I've been uptight. I just want to talk about where the fuck we're actually at. I don't want to pretend the coronavirus isn't real.
Surprisingly, I feel like we were more deep than I thought we were going to be. Because normally
we could get there.
This is the most serious I've been for an extended period of time in a long time. I am normally all gay butts and poop jokes. So
well, you're an intellectual. Like you
don't
are.
Say
that. I'm not putting that on you. Like you have to show up to be one. You're just a fucking comedian. I like whenever I go on about stuff, I'll be talking about the meaning of life, and I'll tell people about Buddhism, and then I'll be like, I'm just a fucking DJ though. And like so, you can go there and then be like, I'm just a comedian though.
It's your job to see what people feel, and it is my job to see, I think, with comedians and DJs, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just my job to look around at things and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. We're always looking at situations as a whole. We're always looking at things on a linear, longer than just now timeline. We're looking at not just our perspectives, but the whole room's perspectives. It's a different way of being than a lot of people.
I have a challenge to people because I know that a lot of these episodes circle around mental wellness and just, how can you help yourself? The next time, like you feel like you're very certain about something, even if you don't feel like you can genuinely get there in your heart, try to come full circle and go to the other side of it and see if you can relate to those people. Just see. Like, I think this is this, and that's the way it is. Just talk yourself into a circle and see if you can find how they got to that thinking. Like, oh, that's why you have that belief on that thing. Right. Just see if you can do it. And if not, whatever, cool. Yeah. I oftentimes don't agree with people. But if you can, just see. That's all I'm saying.
You're brilliant, man. I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate you talking to me, man.
Can we just fuck Corona and just do Knuckles anyways? Eek.
Knuckles are good.
I die 3 weeks later. That'd be so awesome.
All right, man. One more time. Give them all your ads.
On Instagram, it's going to be at _Crumb Guzzler, CRUMB_Guzzler. And same thing on Twitter, but an underscore at the end. At Crumb_Guzzler_. You guys will get it.
Hey, and you'll be seeing some more Joseph Crumb around town if you are from the area, if you're one of those listeners.
And be on the lookout for Stay in Prison. We're going to be releasing a lot of music, and you guys will be able to see us at your local coffee shop or punk rock bar in town.
We're looking forward to it. All right, listener, drink some fucking water, man.
Love you.